Jaya Gopi Jana Bala Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Bala Giridharadhari Yasudananda Braja Janandana Yasudananda Braja Janandana Yamuna Tira Hubana Chani Yamuna Tira Hubana Chani
Hare Krishna. By the way, Shraddha Murli Manohar is actually the name of my baby, sorry. Thank you all. Welcome, and thank you all for coming here. Is anybody here visiting for the first time? Welcome. Where are you coming from?
Sorry, I misheard the question.
Oh, okay. So you've been here before. Well, thank you for coming back. So again, thank you all. I know it's a little bit cold. It's really not that cold. It's nice, but I think it's getting dark earlier, so everybody, I think it's closer to staying at home than rather coming, but actually it's very cozy in here. Right? When we all come together and sing for the Lord, it gets even warmer. So thank you all for coming. So we just finished most amazing month of Kartik. So I hope everybody had a wonderful, auspicious, and realized Kartik month. Any realizations, any deep thoughts, or just like, okay, now it's over. We celebrated Diwali, now let's move on for next year. Okay. So, any realizations, any deep thoughts? You don't have to share them, just, or it's just going to be like another month goes by, just like another year went by, and we'll look forward for next year. And I hope the insights of the Mother Astakam may have filled your heart, and maybe just going into deep thoughts of what that month means. It's a new beginning, or a month where we can actually realize so many positive changes. So I'm going to start with 2 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm just going to read the English translation. This is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 22. He who is satisfied with gain which comes from its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady both in success and failure, is never entangled, although performing actions. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. A Krishna conscious person does not make much endeavor even to maintain his body. He is satisfied with gains which are obtained of their own accord. He neither begs nor borrows, but he labors honestly and as far as it is in his power, and is satisfied with whatever is obtained by his own honest labor. He is therefore independent in his life livelihood. He does not allow anyone's service to hamper his own service in Krishna consciousness. However, for the service of the Lord, he can participate in any kind of action without being disturbed by the duality of the material world. The duality of the material world is felt in terms of heat and cold, or misery and happiness. A Krishna conscious person is above duality because he does not hesitate to act in any way for his satisfaction of Krishna. Therefore, he is steady both in success and in failure. These signs are visible when one is fully in transcendental knowledge. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, text 3. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, liberated from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. Almighty Arjuna. Forward. One who is fully in Krishna conscious is always a renouncer because he feels neither hatred nor desire for the results of his actions. Such a renouncer, dedicated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in his relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and he is the part and parcel of Krishna. Such knowledge is perfect because it is qualitatively and quantitatively correct. The concept of oneness with Krishna is incorrect because the part cannot be equal to the whole. Knowledge that one is one in quality yet different in quantity is correct transcendental knowledge, leading one to become full in himself, having nothing to aspire, not to lament over. This is no duality in his mind, because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus free from the platform of dualities, he is liberated even in the material world. So, the key in these verses is what? Duality, right? Heat and cold, I'm sad, I'm happy. So as long as we are in the material world, we are going to be engaged, or we'll be stuck in these dualities. We are constantly struggling in the material world, or at least when Mataji asked, only one person was struggling. So everybody else is not struggling? We are all perfect? Please give me your recipe. I'm still struggling. We are struggling every day, even if we think that everything is perfect. Either you are a Mahatma, or please tell us what's your secret. We always struggle. As long as we are in this material platform, there's always struggle. From the time we wake up, we struggle to get out of bed, to the time that we have to keep our children asleep, right? And in between, we have to make sure we have some time to finish our japa, to do our service. Everything is a struggle. So what do we struggle in our quest for spirituality? It's supposed to be, relaxing, stress-free. Nobody said spirituality was easy. Sitting for finishing your 16 rounds is not that easy when you have many tasks to run, right? But it's not difficult. It's as difficult as we make excuses to make it difficult. Sometimes circumstances make things appear a little bit darker than what they really are. So if we are in this duality, we're going to be connected to every aspect of material life because we are connecting this body without realizing that our true identity is spiritual and that our soul is the one who is temporarily trapped in this material body. Now, this body is not forever, just temporary. So our soul is temporarily trapped. So we cannot identify it with this body. So we have to realize what is our true identity and what is our original identity and position, Jiva Swarupa, Harakrishnera, Nityadas. So that we, Jivas, are to be engaged in the service of the Lord. I'm not servant of anybody. Well, yes, we are. Sometimes the word servant is very or insulting for some people. Are you calling a servant? Yes. We are all serving somebody. When we get initiated, we get these beautiful names, but following by Das or Dasi, so that we don't think that we are, yes, suddenly we are Prabhus or Devis. No, we are not. We are Dasus and Dasis. And that helps us to understand who we are, where we are, and what platform we are. So we are to be engaged in the service of the Lord. So once we have acknowledged and accepted this constitutional position, what's next? What kind of yoga is going to set me or help me, spiritual duality? Oh, maybe the yoga guys that just open may have something. No. Yoga is wonderful exercise. Their health benefits are incredible. But only Bhakti Yoga is the means to connect the two members, the two persons involved. Only Bhakti Yoga is the one that connects the Lord and the Jiva in ourselves. And that's the connection that we need. So the Lord and the devotee, when we engage in chanting the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we actually are begging His internal energy, Radharani, to engage us in the service of the Lord. That's what we are doing. We are pleading with her. We cannot just approach Him and just bypass, And the gopis go to Radharani, right? You tell Krishna this. So we are begging to that internal energy, internal potency to please help us, guide us, and engage us in the service of the Lord. So that's another step that is helping us. Okay, now we know what is my constitutional position, my original position, and who to ask help from, right? Who's your mom and dad, right? If mom is the softie, then if you want to get something from Papa, then you go to mom, do a puppy face, and then she will put a good word with father, right? So we see Radharani, she's full of mercy. So, okay, now I'm chanting. I'm reading, I'm doing service, but I'm not connecting. It's like the frequency, Radio Krishna is not coming there. What's going on? What happened? I'm feeling overwhelmed. Or I was doing great, and suddenly I'm down. The quality of my chanting has gone down, my service, things that I used to enjoy doing, suddenly I don't have that I don't feel the the spark of doing things, the service or the chanting. Now the chanting is I have to do chanting. I have to finish my japa instead of I need to finish my japa or I want to do my japa. I have minutes of imperative. You have to do something that you don't want to, or you want to. Is the intention. So we have to be very careful. Because falling down from there is easy, but these things are important when we notice them, because many times we are cleansing our anarthas, bad habits. So we checking them. It's like, okay, maybe I should pay more focus on my chanting, on the quality of chanting. It's not the quantity, but the quality. Are you really connected? Are you really chanting? Or are we chanting and it's like, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, oh my goodness, look at that dress. I have to do this. I have to. No. We come to the temple, we see the beautiful, Archa Vigraha form of the Lord, and that helps us. Suddenly we, a beautiful story, I always think of Damodar, and I have the picture of Damodar when I'm doing my japa, that kind of helps me. So everybody has the little tricks here and there just to keep focus. Because after all, that's what is important. If somebody just started chanting, or some other, they're the ones sometimes coming to me and says, we are struggling so much because how can I chant and do all this service? I have to take care of my children. I have to take care of my spouse, my husband, and all these things. And I don't think I will ever be able to become Krishna consciousness. Mataji, that's not true. And that is not right to think like that. Because you are doing a wonderful service by taking care of your kids, first of all. That's your first duty. And Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that. What good it'll be just to come and be chanting the whole day. You're not feeding your children, you're neglecting your children. Tomorrow the children are not going to be growing up in Krishna consciousness. Was that a service? Then that was a disservice. We have to be inviting. And the children have to be invited to and feel, they should not feel the pressure. They should be so glad of doing service to Krishna, being and chanting. And you see many kids, coming and chanting, and they're so energetic, because they see their parents. It's a reflection too. So these struggles are true, and are there in everyone. It's how we channelize them, how we decide to sink, just like a boat, just capsizing, or we just jump in the water and say, no, let's take the water out, or let's try to move it, or let's fight. Right. So again, when we are facing these internal battles, many of us work outside the temple and have to deal with materialistic kind of people. Sometimes situations are not the best conducive for spirituality. Sometimes situations at the temples are also stressful. No, I wanted to, this flower to be on that side, no, on the other side. We never know. There's always situations here and there. But then our convictions kick in. And if we feel that we have just finished, clear some obstacles, or if we have just swum across a wide river. And if we were able to see the difference, what is causing this anxiety, this struggle, our anarthas are being clear, because we are still home of Krishna. And that's important to know, that we have to depend on Krishna. We may have our battles. We may lose battles. But we have to win the war. And what is that war? Our own struggle. When our nardos are finally gone, we are able to properly say that, yes, oh, I finished my 16 rounds, I didn't even tell them. I was able to help some devotees. We had some wonderful satsang. We will feel different. Sometimes false ego, lack of support, or misguided support, tiredness, lack of motivation, or lost motivation, forgetfulness, fear, self-created complexes, or overcritical to others can take us away from our path. And here is when the struggle really begins. So let's discuss a little bit these ones. False ego, when we think that we reach the higher status and we know better than others, this false ego is very dangerous because we then forget one very key ingredient to reach bhakti, and that is humility. If we don't have humility, how can we pretend to be devotees? We can't. We should always be ready to do unconditional, unmotivated service to the Lord. Unconditional. And with all humility. Being humble doesn't mean that we are meek. Being humble means that we are strong. We are strong in what? We are strong in faith. Now, faith and religion is not the same thing. They're intertwined, but they are not the same thing. Religion is not made. And there are a lot of traditions or things that are in one tradition and another tradition. But faith, what we have, what we feel, that nobody can take away. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 54, it says that Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. So one who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So again, before we have the dualities. But when we get rid of those dualities, then we conquer that. And now we can really engage in Bhakti Yoga, because then we become Brahma Buddha. It's difficult to reach that stage. Well, Prabhupada said there was nothing impossible. There's no way one might disciple, one might cannot go back to Godhead in this life. It depends on us. The Lord is there. He's not going to tell us, no, you're not qualified, you're not qualified. We have to surrender. But are we ready to surrender? Or we surrender only sometimes when we are in need? Or at all times? Sometimes we forget that the Lord is there just because we cannot see it. That doesn't mean that we don't feel Him, or that we cannot experience His wonders, whether it's in the morning when you see the sunrise or the sunset, or when something has happened around you into your life and suddenly you realize that this was a miracle. Nothing happens by coincidence. That also doesn't mean that, okay, I'm going to perform 100 yagnas and then suddenly I will win the lotto ticket. No, it's not like that. Suddenly I'm going to pray, I'm going to wear, all my hands are going to be covered in rings, and then everything is going to be fine. No, it doesn't work that way. Why? Because we have to put the effort. Just like Mother Yasoda, he was trying to tie the Lord, right? You're such an auntie, and every time the rope was 2 inches too short. Finally, she surrendered. Okay, as you wish. And she was able to tie him. Love and perseverance. Love from the Lord to his devotee, and the perseverance from the devotee. The thing is, are we continuing that way, or are we so easily giving up? Okay, that's it. I'm done with Hare Krishna, and let me see what is next. If we start something, we must finish it. I was born and raised in the Roman Catholic tradition. After I took up Krishna consciousness, now it doesn't mean that I have forgotten Krishna, like that that I acknowledge Jesus, Mother Mary. They're very dear to me. And the Mother Mary for me, and as for many like devotees who were in the same boat as I did, we consider Mother Mary as an extension of Radharani, the mother, because that's an energy, and you have to know the story behind that to understand the meaning. So people ask me, well, your children, they know about Jesus and Mother Mary, and don't you run into conflicts? Why? Said, I teach them chronologically. Said, Krishna is the Father, so worship the Father. Lord Jesus is the Son. So I decided to worship the Father. I'm not in conflict. Is there any conflict? No. It's to be respectful and understanding. Because when we usually criticize, or people criticize or chastise things out of ignorance. When we do not know, we tend to demonize those things because of our lack of knowledge. But when we have the knowledge, then we understand the similarities. And now if I say, well, even if I try to think of something about Jesus, Krishna comes into my mind. Why? Because my conviction is on Krishna consciousness. And I have been struggling for a long time. And having health issues and everything, 3 years ago, during Kartik, said, please, Lord, keep me humble. And boy, did he deliver. Because it's been a roller coaster. And sometimes I feel like, okay, that's it. I think this is really not working for me. But I always get a hint or another way where Krishna makes himself present. If I said, okay, no, that's it, I'm not going to go to the temple this week, I'm just so overwhelmed. Then suddenly I get a text. Mataji, would you be able to give class this Sunday? And I just look at Krishna, I'm like, okay, there goes. So I have to read. A year and a half ago, I was in India. My health was at that time also deteriorating. I didn't think I would be able to come back from India. I didn't know if I would be able to see my daughters again. But every time that thought will come into my mind, also, the stickers, the Lord Jagannath, the big eye stickers that people sometimes put in their cars. The cars will overtake and the big eyes were there. I'm like, okay, I got you. I got the message. That time we couldn't go to Puri. Usually we go to Puri, and on Mahaprabhu was able to go to the temple because I'm not allowed. But we went to Udaipur to do some work over there. And just the two houses next to the temple, and next to our friends who were staying at, was a temple. I didn't know. And as soon as we entered, we were just talking how sad we were that we were not be able to see or to go to Jagannath Puri, etc., etc. And to our surprise, we go for Mangalarti, and who are the presiding ladies? Lord Jagannath and Subhadra. So these little things, although may seem like coincidental or whatever, but to me, it was a way of Krishna telling me it's going to be okay. And I'm taking care of you. So don't worry. And that helped. That was okay. Whatever you wish. Just remember, the poor thing is my husband has to go through all the trouble. But the Lord was there. Did he come into my dreams and tell me directly that? No, it was through hints. And everyone, I assure you, everyone is able to receive that message, that hint, in one way or another. We just have to tune into Radio Krishna. The little kids get it, I assure you. It's not by chance that they are chanting or singing their prayers very nicely. It's not by chance. They get the message. Sometimes lack of support or misguided support can be stressful. Those who are in a level that are either in a position of secretary, for example, for some spiritual masters or management or whatever, it can be very tricky at times to lead devotees. Sometimes when someone is aspiring from a spiritual master, or you have already taken initiation and to get to, if you're not directly talking to your spiritual master because your spiritual master has so many disciples, you go through their secretary. In certain countries, they have their secretaries. And it's so difficult sometimes for devotees to access them. So if anyone, by the way, is in that position, I have a request for those secretaries. Don't be like Ajay and Vijay when the 4 Kumaras came looking for the Siddharshan of Lord Vishnu. You're not guardians. You're servants. You're there to serve the devotees. Aspiring devotees or initiated devotees doesn't matter. But just because somebody just got an initiation, that doesn't mean that, okay, he's done. No, okay, just read these books and you're done. No. We are supposed to be encouraging people. We have to be compassionate. If a person is not interested, suppose somebody comes for the first time or he's there outside the temple, and this, I have unfortunately witnessed this somewhere in India. Somebody comes for the first time, if they're not chanting, that's okay. Is that a sin, not being chanting? You're sitting under a tree outside the temple, somebody's chanting, and this family with kids are not chanting. If they're not chanting, that's fine. Can you invest 10 minutes of your time and maybe share a Krishna Katha, Krishna story? Maybe the children will appreciate it. And maybe next time, or the time after that, they will come and they will chant. They will taste a little bit the nectar of chanting. If not, at least they will remember some nice Krishna stories. Just because you saw somebody who's not wearing a dhoti or sari, whatever, the dress does not make a devotee. Srila Prabhupada was very nice And I think he used the word devotee very freely. Because I personally, and with all humility, or with all honesty, I'm telling you, I am not a devotee. I'm an aspiring devotee. Maybe one day I will become devotee. When I go to chapter 18 and I see like, okay, check, 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 check. And I will say, oh yes, I'm a devotee. But even then, if I say I'm a devotee, that means I'm not a devotee. You know? So we are aspiring devotees, we're aspiring Vaishnavas. We make mistakes, that's okay. Why are we here? Because it's important that each other is going to help each other with tender feelings. Not chastising, why are you not chanting? Who are you, the shoe? I was so upset. I couldn't say anything. And my Prabhu, who is my source of inspiration many times, and it told me, can you stop just concentrating on your service? You cannot control others. I said, that's fine. And I agree. Even Arjun told Krishna, right? Right in the middle part of Kurukshetra. Just controlling the wind is easier than controlling the mind. I said, I agree. But it still is so painful to see someone treating others like that. Because here, I come and tell everybody the wonders of chanting and how you can become peaceful, loving, etc. And you are not seeing that. So then I really feel like having Mother Yasoda's danda and just going after this body. You know? Yes. Would you come with somebody just like, oh, you have to chant and this and that? Or would you be welcoming? Hey, you know, let's tell a story. Or just because you look like you're not wearing nice clothes, whatever, that means that you may not be a good person. What a big mistake. Maybe we can remind of the story of when the Krishna and Balram, when they first came to Mathura, remember, they were looking for Kamsa, and they came across this handbag lady who was carrying sandalwood for Kamsa. And he called her beautiful. Hey, you beautiful girl. Sundari. She was like, what? Me? At first she thought that Krishna was just teasing her. Krishna was, of course it's Krishna. Krishna was just not looking the outside. He was looking at her soul, and her soul was beautiful. She felt that love. And what did she do? She applied herself the sandalwood on Krishna's feet. And when Krishna helped her, come up, what happened? Her true beauty, inner beauty came out. Beautiful girl, and up straight. When Krishna was a toddler, and the fruit seller, the lady, right, the fruit seller, he came and Krishna knew that, well, okay, I want to get a bunch of rice so that she can give me some fruits, right? By the time the little Krishna came with the rice, there was only probably 1 or 2 grains of rice. And Krishna, what did he do? She didn't even realize. There was the exchange, the love exchange was so nice that this lady didn't realize that her full basket was not full of apples and bananas and fruits and anything. No, it was full of gold and jewels. She did some service unconditionally and unmotivated. And you see the results? So imagine that instead of shooing people away or telling them you're wrong because you're not chanting or you're not wearing sari or you're wearing a torn dhoti or you're... Imagine if we can just look inside. Then what if we bow? When we bow, I'm not really bound to the body. We are bound to the soul within our body. If we are going to have that kind of mentality, why do we fake the bowing, because that's just pretending. That means that I'm really not respecting that person. Am I going to respect somebody just because it's a Bollywood, Hollywood, whatever that is? Because he's a politician? Because he's wearing nice clothes, nice jewelry? No. The Lord is in everybody's heart equally. So who give us the right to treat others in a very bad way? Nobody. So again, let's be inviting, not overwhelming, not chastising. Particularly those who have taken initiation well. And that doesn't mean that it's said, okay, you took initiation, done. You're all set, straight, here's your ticket to the locker. No, it's the beginning. And this we know. Somebody else who is new, and they will not know, hey. So we have to be more patient. Oh, another key word, patience. So we have humility and we have patience. Lack of motivation or loss of motivation, that is forgetfulness. Because then sometimes when that happens, we forget how happy we actually are when we are serving. Sometimes others try to keep us away from that service, but you know something? The relationship with the Lord is personal. When we are born and when we die, we come and we go alone. Well, in this body. But the Lord in the heart is the only one who's with us all the time. When we are born and when we go. No, when we give up this body. So when if we are losing motivation, it is important to find out what are the causes, what is causing this lack of motivation. Sometimes third-party issues can affect that motivation, and particularly we are in a very fragile state. So it's important to not to keep quiet. Seek the help of anybody you trust, you can talk to. It will help. Fear and guilt. I didn't finish my job. I burned the prasadam. So many things. Well, first of all, we are not God-fearing. We are God-loving people. If you come to Krishna consciousness, we are God-loving. We love Krishna. We don't fear him. Why? Because we are learning to know him. We're getting to know him. So how can you love someone you don't know? But the more you know, the more you love that person, right? When do you fear? When you have wrong actions. When you do wrong things, that's when you're fearful. How am I going to be cut? Uh-oh, I ate half of this cake. How am I going to be cut? Right? We are fearful when we have done the wrong things, so we don't have, our intentions are wrong. That's when we are fearful. Otherwise, why? We should be God-loving. God loves us. We are guilty because we burned the prasadam. Okay, was that your intention to burn the prasadam? The Lord is so kind that he will just accept the leaf, flower, right? Anything, but with what? With love. Even if you make a mental offering, he will accept it, but it has to be from the heart. If you want to offer those something, or should be always ready to. And somebody tells you, okay, now you have to do this, now you have to do this. Like, no, don't tell me, or don't tell that person. Only the person doing the service is the one who knows what's in their mind. What would you like to do? Maybe I like the flower. way or that way, whatever. That's your personal touch, if you may. And then self-created complexes or over-critical to others. Again, humility, humility, humility. Trinad, napisuni chera taurora pesa yisna amani na manadema kitania sadam hari. So we have to be tolerant. We have to be humble. There's nothing wrong. And when we are wrong, by the way, it's okay to say I'm sorry. That is not going to make us lower. On the contrary, when we are wrong, it's okay to say, I'm sorry. It's okay to apologize. Because then we have a chance to correct our mistake, make it better. There's no problem in that. Acknowledging that you have made a mistake, you're acknowledging that, yes, you're fallible, you're human beings. So if you're in a position, again, of connecting devotees, aspiring Vaishnavas, etc., again, don't be like guards. You're not guardians. We are servants. We're supposed to connect. We are supposed to help. Negative action can be very detrimental in the life of a person, both mental and spiritual. And we don't have the right to do damage to a person like that. So be kind. We have to be kind. The Lord is always there. Again, we may not see him, but we can feel him. Realize that even if we are not devotees or aspiring Vaishnavas, he carries what we lack and he protects what we have. Not only where we are going, but we can see that we make mistakes. That he may say, okay, we maybe pull away from him, but he always has a way or so to pull us back. So when it says we are struggling, so when we're struggling, then that's depend on Krishna. He will pull us one way or another. Don't feel guilty, don't feel fearful. And I'm knowing that all these things right. Check on the intention. If your intention is to serve, and is sincere, and is unconditional, and is unmotivated, then we're probably in the right track. We just have to put a little bit more discipline. And we have to apply those disciplines and those things to ourselves first before correcting others. They will be corrected and sometimes self-corrected. Remember, what is 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4. So we have applied those things to ourselves first before we move on to others. So that's about it. And just have one quick request, or rather message. Christmas is around the corner. And this is a time when people start sharing a lot of pictures of Radha and Krishna dressed in Santa outfit. Now, I have no problem whatsoever with the Radha and Krishna wearing beautiful red dresses. But cuteness can be seen as ignorance when Radha and Krishna as dressed as Santa Claus or Mrs. Claus. When you put a wig on Radharani, when you put a wig on Krishna, when you put a white beard on Krishna, that is telling me that we have not understood who Krishna is. Who is Krishna? Krishna is Satchitananda, right? He is full of eternity. So if he's Lord, if he's full of eternity, he is time. He controls time. Time doesn't control him. He never ages. He looks like 16, right? He was not 16. Radharani, look at her. Does he age at any time? Krishna's internal energy, Lord Jagannath, Lord Balaram, Subhadra Devi, Supreme Personality of Godhead, touched by time? If that was the case, I don't know, did they get a vaccination? They get chicken pox or something like that? No. So again, that cuteness will be seen as ignorance because we do not understand who the Lord is. They're beautiful red outfits. I have beautiful outfits for my deities in red and things. I've never in my life put a wig. When I saw that, I was like, no. Merry Krishnas, Merry this, come on. I just imagine Prabhupada's expression. What will he say? So if you see those ones, say them like to say, hey Krishna, just give them your mercy. But please don't share those things. It's so, Radha and Krishna right now, we worship them as Lakshmi Narayan. We have to be very careful, all in reverence. And the pujaris who raise those deities have to be so careful in their service because they are directly there. We have to make sure they're happy. And then we'll be able to see what a wonderful deities they have and the message that they will transmit. So I thought, I don't know if I will have an opportunity to address you all like that before Christmas, but I thought this is important. Maybe it's not that important, but if we're always talking that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he's Satchitananda, and then we come and put a white wig, and it's like, okay, he's Father Time. No, he's not Father Time. He's the father of Father Time. So in those cases, quantitatively and qualitatively come very handy. He is the father of Father Time. He controls time. Okay? Any questions? See, nobody has struggled. Everybody is so happy of being in the temple. And I was just told that we're going to have a book marathon, coming up December 10, 11? It started yesterday, okay. So this is a very nice way of having the Lord. If some of you who do not know Srimad Bhagavatam, this is a very nice time to acquire it. And not only to acquire it, but to read it and study. Because we can have, oh Mataji, I have Bhagavad Gita, I have it. Yeah, it's somewhere in my shelf. Or have you read it? Yeah, I read it. And remember, it's not how we read, how we memorize. We are not the Sanskrit scholar, that's okay. But it's how we live Bhagavad Gita, how we interpret the message of the Lord, how we are with everyone. That is going to reflect in our Krishna consciousness. If I'm moody, if I'm chastising, if I'm like this, if I'm like that, who will want to come to Krishna consciousness? Who will want to come to the temple? No, you chastise too much. But when we are inviting fun, hey, this is nice. We have a party here every Sunday. We dance, we chant. Remember, it's holding. Being humans. Right now, unfortunately, we're being so much of a I lost the word that I was going to say. With so much technology, humanoids. We're becoming humanoids. No, that's not right. Parents, you have the control on your phones. Your children don't control you. You still have drain some of your kids. When they become teenagers, it's going to be very difficult to do anything. Those electronics sometimes they're addictive. So please be careful. Don't let these things drive the humanity in people, the empathy away. Let's be humans, not humanoids. Let's be kind to anybody, to everybody. Hare Krishna.